In this video, we're going to be talking about nice girl habits that you need to break in order to have healthy relationships. So you might be thinking to yourself, what is a nice girl habit? So the way I like to define nice girl habit is something that you do in order to be perceived as good or nice in the expense of your own peace. It's essentially people pleasing and feeling this need to maintain this certain perception of yourself. Wanting to be perceived as perfect and being afraid to step on anyone's shoes. And this looks like, number one, not speaking up because you're afraid to be perceived as difficult. Maybe you and your friends are going to a seafood restaurant and you don't like seafood, but you don't want to say anything because everyone else wants to go, so you don't want to be perceived as difficult. Number two, brushing things off and saying it's not a big deal because you want to keep the peace. For example, you got into a fight with your significant other and they said something a little bit rude, but you brush it off and say, well, they were just in the heat of the moment, they probably didn't mean it, it's fine. And even though you're still hurt, you brush it off and don't say anything. Number three, pretending that you're okay only to feel upset and resentful later. Number four, having no boundaries. If you want to learn more about different boundaries to have in healthy relationships, make sure you click the video here. Five, constantly dimming your identity and personality so that everyone is comfortable around you. If you constantly feel as if you need to tone yourself back because you don't want to overshine or step on anyone's shoes, this is nice girl behavior. And if this sounds like you, I hear you and I've been there before. This used to be me too afraid to speak up or say how I feel, thinking I'm such a nice person for letting things slide. Wow, I have so much patience. When the truth is, all I really was scared. Scared to lose them if I said the wrong thing, scared that they're gonna think I'm difficult. And if you grew up in a household where speaking up and setting boundaries was perceived as rude or talking back, it makes sense that you react this way. And we learn to internalize this message of our needs and wants don't matter when we grow up in a household where you were constantly rewarded and praised for being on your best behavior, but constantly punished for speaking up about how you felt. Maybe whenever you disagreed, you were met with anger, silence, or guilt. And as a child, you perceive that as I'm bad, my needs don't matter, I'm unimportant. Now you find yourself carrying all these wounds in your relationships because you deep down believe that it's true. But let me tell you something that will help you change your perspective, which is kindness without honesty is manipulation. If something's bothering you or you don't like something, it's important to speak up about it. Otherwise, it's going to just fuel resentment and anger, which usually leads to either blowing up about it afterwards or shutting down and ghosting them. And when you think of a nice or good friend, blowing up or ghosting them is probably not in your mind, right? Which is why we need to stop thinking letting things slide so we're not difficult is a good thing. I'm just being a good friend. Because the reality is we're just preventing ourselves from having honest, authentic, healthy relationships. Because a good friend means telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Being a good partner means being able to disagree with them and having healthy adult conversation. And only being nice to their face while secretly resenting them is only being fake. And it's important to stop assuming and speak up so you can break this cycle. So if you're ready to start healing those wounds, stop being that fake nice girl, and break out of those nice girl habits, make sure that you click the link in my description below to book a call. I'll help you map out your next steps together so we can build that healthy relationship. But comment down below which one of these resonated with you, like, subscribe, and as always, you got this.